Big news out of the Premier League. Everton docked 10 points for breaching financial rules. It's the largest point deduction in Premier League history. The club has said they are going to appeal. But for now, Everton falling from 14th in the table to 19th, square in the middle of the relegation zone. Gab is still with us. Thrilled to join, to welcome to the show Don Hutchison, who, of course, played at Everton 1998 through 2000, also captained the club. Craig, let's start in studio again here, though, with you. What's your reaction to this 10-point deduction? You think Everton can survive it?
Yes, I do, because shall I use that word gubbins again? Because there's a lot of garbage in the bottom of the Premier League, and I think that could be the salvation for them, particularly the teams that came up, Sheffield United, Luton Town, and Burnley, who have all struggled to pick up any points, and it looks as if that's going to carry on, whilst actually Everton have started to look a little better in the last few weeks. So I think they can. Look, I'm not the best person to talk about the nuances of why this has happened, this investigation. It seems to have taken a while, and we do have a man on the show tonight that knows a way more about it than me. But I think one of the things I've read is it's taken so long that, you know, teams were relegated last year and there could be legal implications there. So it really is a mess. But one question that pops up for me, that pops up for everybody, is you're not telling me, and all you know, finances at clubs are different and how they go about it, but there's a lot of charges and a lot of finger pointing at a lot of other clubs. And I think Everton, if this holds, will certainly want to make sure that parity, at least parity, with other clubs in the decision making who have wronged is met. And I think it would only be fair if the likes of City and Chelsea and others deserve to be punished, then they must be punished. And it's not just about teams that are down the bottom of the league. So a bit of a can of worms, but we'll see what comes out of this.
Craig, you didn't want to go.
Financial fair plays and rule regulations being broken. That's all that has been happening in the Premier League. If you've really been missing out, you thought we were only focusing on international break. Well, you are going to get something that was crazy. So, football has gone to another level, people. I really waited for this so that when I come to react, I'll come and give you my all full thoughts 100%. I'm not going to miss anything. So, just a few days ago, Everton were deducted 10 points by the Premier League because of you spending money above their means, what they were supposed to spend by financial fair play, which means they were in the negative zone of, you know, the money. This is a rule which was set for the financial fair play, and they did break it. They did break it. No matter what is going to happen, they did break the rule. And it's clear that's why they're being punished, because they broke the rules. But now there are situations of them feeling like they're being hard done, and some of the clubs who should be, in this case, being charged, the like of Man City, Chelsea, who also have some breaches that the Premier League are still investigating, according to what we're being told, should be done, and especially the Man City rule should have been done earlier than what was done. And as we can hear Craig is talking about, there are a lot of finger pointing, and they feel like, why are they being singled out? Why are they being made the scapegoat? While they're supposed to focus on some clubs with some real ones. But the fact of the matter is this: Everton may break the rules, the financial fair play rules, and the Premier League, now because of the pressure that we're being put by the La Liga president and all the UEFA, they have to take action. And this is the action we are seeing right now here. So there is a lot of things that could happen, but at this moment, Everton did break the rule. So let's hear what they're going to say as they explain what's happening with the Man City. But so many clubs that want Man City and Chelsea breaks to be also reviewed and stuff like that. So it's going to be an interesting time. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Click the like button.
Go into the nuances of the investigation.
Because I don't know the nuances.
I'm glad you spared us. Let's get those nuances from Gab Marcotti. And Gab, also, what do you think the ramifications will be for a Manchester City and a Chelsea?
So I think we need to make some order, right? So Chelsea and Manchester City are also being investigated, as we know. They're being investigated for very different things. Chelsea, they actually outed themselves. They self-reported. They're being investigated for illegal payments that were made anywhere from 7 to 10 years ago when the club was owned by Roman Abramovich. And I think in this case, Todd Bowley himself said when they bought the club, Todd Bowley's group held back $100 million because when they did their due diligence, they said, "Wait a minute, we could be facing fines for this." And sure enough, there do appear to be illegal payments there. So, given that they came forward themselves, given that they've set money apart from the fines, I wouldn't be surprised. And given that this was the previous ownership and it was a long time ago, I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea get out of this one with some kind of mega fine. As far as Manchester City are concerned, that's very different. You've all heard that it's 115 counts to Everton's 1. Here we're talking, if proven, we're talking about fraud. We're talking about false accounting. That's a completely different, crime, so to speak, than what Everton did. Everton, they surpassed the allowed losses by about 19 million. The allowed losses are 105 million over 3 years. There's a bunch of costs that you can kind of strike off, and if they're considered virtuous costs, there's other costs associated with COVID where you can kind of disallow those. So you have some flexibility. And as I understand it, based on what's been reported, it all comes down to Everton considering certain types of expenses as allowable losses that don't count towards a total, the Premier League finding differently. So it really is apples and oranges here. If you want to read this as the Premier League are willing to be tough with teams that break their rules, so if they find Chelsea and City guilty, they'll be tough as well. Sure, you can look at it that way. But these are very, very different offenses for which they're being judged.
Craig, I saw you taking notes.
It's very, very, very important to understand what's happening here. Chelsea, they discovered that their books were being doctored because there were people who were being paid and transfers and everything that was happening. And they had to self-police themselves so that they could be free. The purpose of this was they wanted to start a free and whatever, how they're spending money and taking advantage of whatever they're doing to spend that money. But it's way different from Everton because according to what we are being told here, Everton overspent the money that they were supposed to use by around 19 million, which it was supposed to happen in a matter of 3 years. So of course they have used so much money and there should be some consequences for overspending. And this is exactly what we're seeing, what the Premier League is asking them to do and why the 10 points deduction. You could say that for the amount of money that they used, it is too much. It is too much in terms of the harshness of the punishment, but it seems like the Premier League are so determined to make sure that they keep their house in order, and they did so. And as well as other clubs who were relegated before, they are going to be coming back hunting for this because they know, especially Leicester last season, they were only 1 point away from actually being safe. And another club is taking advantage of the financial fair play. It could be a different understanding in terms of how the season will go like. But that's where we are here. Chelsea, on the other hand, like I'm saying, it's about how they were paying other people behind the scene so that they get some fair transfers, the people that they wanted and what they were trying to work on. Man City, on the other hand, this one is a different ball game. And if you look at the Everton's harshness of punishment, if the Premier League are by all means going to put anything fair to that, then Man City are in turmoil. So you could see that maybe Chelsea will be charged by points being deducted, but Man City will definitely be in trouble because the 115 charges, most of them are very, very deadly. So it's a matter of just noticing what's going to be happening and seeing. And according to the recent reports, because now I'm doing this 3 days later after this video that we are doing has been out, the Premier League, clubs like Liverpool are putting so much pressure, especially Liverpool and United, are putting so much pressure to the Premier League that they want this resolved before the new season starts. And they need action to be taken. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how the Premier League does this, because this is a main partner in terms of what they offer to the Premier League, and it just being relegated like that, it's going to be crazy. And what's going to happen to the titles that they've won now in those years? Can't wait to see. Let's hear what people are saying here. Let's hear what Craig is going.
You got all that squared away?
I possibly.
Don, what are your Everton friends saying about this? And do you think they can stay up even with the 10-point deduction?
I do think they can stay up. And I put out a tweet last week, and this is why I love Everton so much, because I think when the news broke a couple of days ago, I think many fans would have been distraught at the news, where Everton fans now have rallied. They're coming together. They're trying to make a noise. They're trying to stand for their club. They feel very, very unlucky, because what I must stress, on top of exactly what Gab stated there, and he's right in terms of the money being £19 million over, there was no sport and merit gained. Everton are sort of doubling down on saying, listen, and I think the authorities as well have signed that off to say, listen, there was no sport and merit. It was all stuff to do with things off the pitch that is beyond my pay grade. I understand, and I spoke to people on the ground this morning, but I wouldn't want to get myself into any trouble. But I do think they can stay up. I think the form that they've been in, only one loss in 5. What the Everton fans have said to me today, and what my friend who works at the club said, is they're going to try and turn Goodison into a bear pit. They're going to make it really hostile. They've got Man United on Sunday, so they're really expecting the Everton fans to be unbelievably noisy and ferocious and get behind their team. Why wouldn't they? They're in great form. They're in great spirits. So if you're going to sort of half look at it with your glass half full, and you're taking the 10 points, as it stands today, there will be an appeal, but we're not sure what's going to happen. Everton are in really good form, and as Craig said there, all you've got to do now if you're Everton is get one more win on the board, and you're at the bottom 3 or close to it, and stick a couple of wins back to back, and you're going to be clear again. The form that they've been in is great. They're playing against the Man United side that have been woeful the last couple of games. They won 1-0 against Fulham. They beat Luton 1-0, haven't been great. So it's going to be a great atmosphere, and I think the Everton fans are going to get behind their club.
If there's a season to take a 10-point deduction, it would be hard to argue there's a better one to do it in than this one, bearing in mind the teams that are down the bottom. So
this sticks, whatever that is going to happen here. Everton, they already know what's happening here. They already know that there are worse clubs than them this season. We're talking about the ones that were promoted: Burnley, Luton, Sheffield. That if they play their games well, if they just put so much pressure, they will be out of the dugout. And as you see, they are going to make the Goodison Park a hostile place to go. And remember, Liverpool is going to be coming very, very soon. United very, very soon. And it's going to be crazy to see how this one plays out. But it's really interesting to see what's happening here. I for you change, respect what the Premier League is doing. If they found you in trouble or in breakage of some rules, you have to actually face the consequences, and that's what they're doing here. If Everton are facing what they did, these are the consequences of their actions. So as much as the world is trying to be on their side, they're trying to say they broke the rules, and breaking the rules has consequences, and that's exactly what we just saw here. The reason why theirs just came earlier than others, it's the situation. I'm going to give you a crazy example. The situation of Liverpool signing Endo before Gravenberch. It looked like crazy because they signed the older guy first before they signed the younger player. That's exactly what's happening here. They have less charges, which is just one and straight to the point, and the panel looked at it and they vote against them, and they were charged then. With Man City, it's 115 charges. And one thing I think I'm really liking, especially of the policies, is to force the Premier League to do their things well on time and fast. And it looks like because of the pressure that some of the partners of the Premier League are putting on them, the Man City charges, as much as they are low to 115 to the percent, they will make sure that they're done all very, very fast. So it's going to be exciting to see how that one goes. I don't know how Chelsea will go. I don't think they will be relegated, but I know they will be maybe a point deduction, maybe more than what Everton deducted off. Then we'll see which relegation, where Man City will be relegated to. and what is going to happen. Because one report that I read was like, when City are found guilty, then all hell will break loose, because they're going to be relegated, I think stripped of all their titles. Then also, all the players that they have right now in the team, the amount of wages that they're spending won't be allowed wherever they're going, either championship or league somewhere. They have to be released. And what's going to happen with Pep Guardiola? What will the players do if they find that they've been playing for a fraudulent club? It's going to be exciting to see, people. Click the like button, subscribe to The Connect. I'm out. We'll see you on another video. We'll be back again. The Premier League is back, building up to the bigger game. Man City versus Liverpool. 12:30 Saturday. We are going to be here. We'll be here, people. We'll be here. Enjoy. We're out.